Hey, what's up everybody? Garrick Rummel here with Duty to Train. I wanted to do a quick video while I was on my way to grab my brother and sister-in-law from DCA Airport along with my nephew. And one good thing, one bad thing. Good news, cliffhanger, is got some really good news on Duty to Train today, so I wanted to talk about that, but I thought I would start with the bad news first. And that is just that, I mean, it is just becoming an absolute joke. Left, right, and this is why I've talked about this in previous videos. And I'm going to be pretty open about this because I think that, you know, I'm like a freedom-loving person. Consider myself like a conservative libertarian, you know, and I don't care what side you're on. I don't care. You know, let's just like all like pull our heads out of our butts, use some common sense, and look at politicians. And this is about Mitch McConnell because I just saw something on Twitter just like 30 minutes ago. Apparently he was in a press conference and he basically looked like he stroked out in the middle of a press conference. He was like talking, or someone was about to ask him a question. The video kind of just started like as he was standing there, but people were asking him a question, and then you could see the people in the background. He was just sitting there staring like for about 20 seconds, 25 seconds. And people were trying to like get his attention, and he was just standing there staring. And it's the sign of having a stroke, you know, and that's not the thing that irks me. The thing that really irks me, and like maybe I should do a little bit more research before I say this, but I feel like I don't even have to, because it doesn't even, so would not surprise me that it's true, is apparently he came out like 20-30 minutes after this happened, after he stroked out on live television, and then told some reporter that he was fine. Like, they are literally politicians. This is what I'm saying. Like, left, right, and center. We have got to get over this whole political BS game in this country where it's like my side versus your side. I mean, these people in power are just laughing at us. Laughing at us. They're like, they watch us like fight amongst ourselves. And in the meantime, you know, how much is Mitch McConnell getting paid to do, I don't know, who knows heck what, you know? He's like a geriatric old fool. And the thing is like, I understand. I actually, right after I saw the first video, you know, a lot of people were like, hey, I don't really like him, but, you know, I hope that he's okay, which is totally the right reaction, right? Is no matter what you think of someone politically, like if they have some health problems, then yeah, you should show some mercy, some grace. But I think that stops when you come out as that politician and you lie to the American people, like straight up to their face, and say, I'm fine. No, you're not fine. You just stroked out on live television and you're unfit to hold office. Why can't you just take a piece of humble pie like Americans have to do every single day? Like if you stroked out in the middle of your work, you know, I guess maybe your employer might say, you know, all right, let's get you checked out. Hopefully they wouldn't just be like, hey, I'll see you at work tomorrow, right? Maybe, you know, they wouldn't just fire you. But if you just came back after you just stroked out at work and you were like, hey, I'm fine, your employer would probably be like, no, you're not. You need to get checked out, dude. And the thing is, it's like Mitch McConnell, I don't even know how old he is, but he literally looks older than my grandfather. And actually, my grandfather's had 4 strokes. 4. I went like 4. Dude. It's really infuriating to me. And like, I'm going to tie this back with pistols right now. But these people, you know, tell us that they don't want to come after pistols. You know, they tell us that they're not going to raise taxes. They tell us that, you know, they're going to let us keep our health care. They tell us, you know, and if you're on the left, you know, Ron DeSantis says, hey, you know, we're not going to like completely ban abortion. Like people on the right totally want to do that. They literally lie left, right, and center. It's like they just straight up lie to your face. And then they expect you to just eat it up. It's like, can't you just be honest with us? Like, because that's not the political game. If you do that, then you don't win. But then we just keep electing these people. It's so frustrating. It's so infuriating that like this is what we're given. Like Mitch McConnell. And then, you know, same thing goes with Joe Biden. Like, I mean, he's clearly deficient. Like cognitively deficient. And like, if you can't see that, you're just not being honest with yourself. Like he's clearly on the downside. And it's not fun. It's not fun to say that. It honestly isn't. It's not fun to say that Mitch McConnell looks like he's, in starting to become in the bad part of his life. Like he's not going to be able to enjoy life like he used to because he's stroking out now. I don't take joy in saying that, but it infuriates me that he can't just be honest with the American people and say, hey guys, I'm not healthy anymore and I can't do my job and serve you in the way that I'm supposed to, so I need to step down. That would never happen because that's not the political game, and then people on the right, harping on Biden. Hopefully, I really want to see some people harp on Mitch McConnell because that dude needs to get out of office stat. Same thing goes with Dianne Feinstein. I mean, she was wheelchaired into Congress recently after her medical issues. I think she was she's in her 90s or something, late 80s, early 90s. I mean, it's not being cruel. You're literally on death's door. Stop holding office. We keep voting them in, but it's a two-part problem, right? They are so caught up in their own power that they can't just say, hey, I can't do my job anymore. I'm not fit anymore. This isn't for me. They can't just walk off into the sunset. They got to keep making laws and telling people what to do. It's ridiculous. So anyway, that's that vent session. On another note, really good note, I got some really good news on Duty to Train today. And that is that, actually, I don't really know if I want to talk about specifically what it was, but I had an issue earlier this week. My investor needed some things to get done. And long story short, I didn't know if I was going to be able to get them done. It wasn't a matter of time. It was a matter of whether or not it was going to be possible to do these things. And I wanted to get them done too, but my investor was like, hey, this really needs to get done. And I looked into it and I thought that it might be an issue and it might have just stopped Duty to Train from ever happening. And so I think I was looking into this thing Monday, Tuesday timeframe and realized pretty quickly, I was like, oh, this could be a big problem. And I was stressing for 2 days because I've literally put in thousands of hours into this company and I haven't made a dime yet. I put in thousands of hours and literally thousands of my own dollars into this company because I have a vision that I think will help millions and millions of people. And I was worried that it might just be dead on arrival. And I learned today, I literally spent 9 hours. I spent 2 hours yesterday and 9 hours on the phone today trying to figure out some stuff. And I figured it out. And I'm stoked. I'm so excited. And I've listened to Joe Rogan a lot in the past, and one of the things that he talks about is being able to overcome adversity. And as a man, that's super important because you're gonna be, he just kind of comes from a man's perspective. But a lot of men in today's society are super weak, and that's honestly how I am. It's how I've always seen myself, as a quitter. And that's not easy to say in a public forum, but I have been given this gift of this idea, and I really think that I'm meant to do something special with it. And so I'm just putting so much effort into this thing because a lot of people say, do something that you love and you'll never work a day in your life. And that is, in a way, what it feels like for me. It's definitely work. It's tiring. It's exhausting at times. But I'm so hopeful that this is going to be just monumentally successful. And I'll be able to help millions of people defend themselves and their families and defend America and liberty and freedom around the world. And that gives me so much hope, and it gives me so much to fight for. So when I think oh, I'm tired, I'm all right, give it 30 more minutes, or read another 10 pages, or whatever I'm doing, And so it's just, I guess, overcoming this obstacle this week. There's really two obstacles I've overcome so far in this business. The first one is when I was having an issue with the company, period, because I was trying to go door to door the same way my brother was in Apple Valley, Minnesota, and realized that was not going to work out. I literally sold no training, nothing. And so I was like, oh my gosh. And I was stressing out the same way. I was like, this isn't going to work out. I'm not going to be able to do this. I'm not going to be able to honor my brother. I felt absolutely crushed as a human being. And then I overcame that obstacle and I came up with what I think is literally $1 billion idea. I think it's that big. and whether or not I can corner that big of the market is honestly completely up to me, my partner, and my wife, because she's going to be the CFO of the company. It's going to be a huge, huge role. So it's basically up to us to form this company, me, my investor, and my wife, to form this company into literally a behemoth. But that was the first obstacle I really had to overcome. And this was like, it didn't take as much time because that required like days and days and weeks of thinking. But this was like the first obstacle where I was like, oh my gosh, this actually might kill my company. And I overcame it. Like, it gives me goosebumps thinking about it because like I overcame that. And this is not usually something that I do a lot. Like I fold, and it's hard to even talk about this, but like I want people to understand, because I think this is going to be a really, really fantastic company. And if it's not, then this is like the biggest whoopsie of my life. But I really believe in my bones. Like when you talk to entrepreneurs and they just, every time somebody told them like, oh, that's not going to work out, that's a dumb idea, they just like laughed and took it as a challenge. Like every time somebody's like, I don't know if that's a good idea, I'm like, you have no idea what you're talking about. But I guess the pride and the confidence that it gives me to like overcome these challenges and obstacles and rise to the occasion, it's really, really meaningful as a person. And I can only speak to being a man, but it's really meaningful as a man to be able to do that. I've never really felt like I've done that before, not in like any major way. And I don't know, when things get hard, I just have a hard time like bucking up, and I'll just get tired and like frankly go to sleep or something like that. And I have not been doing that with this company. I'm like, this needs to get done, and if I want this to succeed, like, it needs to be perfect. It needs to be absolutely perfect. And the reason it has to be perfect is not only because I need the company and the product to be amazing, but I also need it to be so good that when someone else tries to take over, I'm like locked, like everything's good to go. And if everything isn't locked, like I know I'm getting competition. I know it's coming. It might take a year, it might take 2, but if I turn this into $1 billion company, there's no way major firearms companies are not getting into this business. They're gonna come in fast and hard, and I need to have my business completely locked down. And so that's like the motivation that I have to make all of these small decisions now and to do all of this work now. Because if I don't do it now, then all of those mistakes are gonna build up, and then someone else is gonna be able to like, I don't know, the great analogy is, it's kind of like pistol training, right? Pistol training, I talk about this in my videos. It's like building a house with a poor foundation. And the key fundamentals when it comes to pistol shooting are stance, grip, sight alignment, and trigger control. And if you get those 4 things down, pistol shooting becomes so much easier, and you can really build on that. But if you don't have those 4 fundamentals locked and you start trying to build, then everything starts to crumble, and you start like overwhelming yourself, and you don't really understand once you start advancing why you're not getting any better. And so it's the same thing with my business. Like I have to have all of the super simple things completely locked. And so when I'm faced with these obstacles, like I literally have no choice but to like figure out a way to overcome them, because I know that if I start trying to build a house on a poor foundation, it's just going to completely wreck me in the long run. So I'm literally spending so much time trying to make all the small things perfect so that once I get this up and running, I don't have any of those issues. So I just had a really, really fantastic day. It was literally one of the most successful days I've ever had with Duty to Train. And it's July 26, 2023, and it's like one of the proudest days I've had in like a very, very long time. And it makes me very happy about the future, very hopeful. And honestly, it gives me confidence in myself that like, hey, I can do this. I can build this company, because and frankly, this is where, a really good, amazing wife comes in. Because the other day I got super down about it, and she wrote me a note. We write each other notes in the morning, and she wrote me a really nice, beautiful note and said, hey, like, you can do this, like pray about it. Don't get down, like I'm going to be here by your side, and you're going to be able to do this. And it literally just like reinvigorated me. And then today I figured it out. So to any man out there who's like, I don't know if I should get married, you have no idea what a good woman will do for you. It is literally mind-boggling what a good woman will do for a man. Like, I mean, don't just marry a woman because like you have to marry the right woman in order for her to like bring value into your life. You can't just marry anybody. But if you find the right woman, lock that down. I am telling you, best decision you'll ever make. So I think that's a great note to leave it on. Until next time, stay safe, live free, and I'll talk to you later. See ya.